Technically, Super Tuscan isn't really an official term. In the 1960s, the Italian government instituted a wine appellation law. They wanted to copy the appellation, the AOC laws of France, so they came up with the DOC or the DOCG system. This appellation system was meant to guarantee the origin of wines and build strong brand names for different types of wines all around Italy. When these laws were formed, for some reason Tuscany, especially around Chianti, it required producers to blend in 10% of white grapes, Malvasia or Trebbiano, into the Sangiovese. Some producers felt like these wines were not very exciting, they were quite lean, they wanted to produce richer, age-worthy wines, so some of the first Super Tuscans were born, namely Sassicaia, which is a Bordeaux blend, and Tignanello, which is Sangiovese blended with Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. Since these wines weren't allowed to fit into the DOC, the appellation rules, the producers had to label the wines just Vino da Tavola, which means table wines, the lowest classification in Italy at that time. Those wines were selling at more premium prices, which was a little bit embarrassing for the consortios and the Italian government. These new generations of wines were either 100% Sangiovese or included international grapes like Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, or Petit Verdot. They were also aged in French barriques, like they use in Bordeaux. Traditionally, in Italy at the time, wines were aged in large Slavonian oak casks. The Antinori family claims that Tignanello was the first wine to be aged in new French oak barriques, smaller barrels, and ironically, now they're moving away from that and going back to large Slavonian oak casks. In the 80s and the 90s, those wines started taking off with the international market, and critics started to dub them Super Tuscans. They were big, rich, easy to understand, yet delicious wines, and that's why they caught on. Finally, in the 90s, the Italian government caught up, and then they established a classification system that was a little bit looser with regulations called the IGT system. And then Bulgari, where Sassicaia is from, also got its own DOC.